Welcome, Dr. James Beckett, Sports Card Insights. I was on Hobby Hotline last Saturday. We talked about the National. That's why I'm kind of rushing these outtakes, abridgment. We were on for an hour and 15 minutes. It was myself, John Newman, and Victor Roman, a bunch of commenters, call-ins. A lot of fun every time. Thanks, sponsors, Topps Panini, Upper Deck, Heritage Auctions, Huggins Scott Auctions, Mike Stadium Sports Cards, Burbank Sports Cards, ComC.com, and Beckett Media, Beckett Grading, Beckett Authentication. This is about 14 minutes of abridgment. Here it is.
Dr. Jim, as someone who's come from the grading side, your thoughts if Fanatics eventually does acquire a grading company, would it bother you?
It would have bothered me decades ago. I think now, basically, these are brands that have a very strong brand identity. And if that brand identity does not include integrity, then conflicts of interest are a big deal. But they realize if they have a lack of integrity in any one of their portfolio companies, it reflects on all of them. In other words, when PSA is getting into comic books, they need to do it right. And I believe they will do it right. But if they did it badly, it would reflect on their whole business. If Fanatics bought a grading company that was suspect and not good quality, it would drag down their whole brand. It would cause doubt in everything they're doing. So if they do, they'll be very careful. There is a potential conflict of interest, but sometimes businesses lean into it and say, we are going to be so transparent. We're going to be so careful. We're going to be above board about all this. We're going for it, but we're going to make sure that the right hand doesn't affect the left hand when you have these different businesses. And really, grading is partly about this year's cards, in a huge way about previous cards that have already been produced. It's not just this year's cards.
You make a great point. They will try to do it better, but sometimes that's easier said than done. You can go in with that perspective or approach. The people are with the torches at the gate waiting for one little mistake, right? The first thing that's questionable, you know how this social media and this hobby works. It's going to be blown up out of proportion and not even fairly, right? CAT scans, not just for humans, I think is the headlines. Reports coming out that hobbyists, dealers, collectors are utilizing CAT scanners to search packs and boxes to see maybe if there's a logo man or some kind of bigger hit in these boxes and cases. This is crazy to me. I've never been in the market for a home CAT scanner, so I do not know what these things cost. My wife is a nurse. I know they're probably not cheap. But a lot of these stories I read, people don't even have to buy them. They utilize them at work, after hours. So it's not even the cost prohibitive. It's just taking advantage of one in the workplace to do shady hobby practices. This is a story that surprises me. Someone told me this has been going on a long time. It's just now coming to the surface. Obviously, I'm not supportive of this. It's sad. As we all know, anywhere there's money to be made and shortcuts to be taken, that's going to happen. Dr. Jim, how does this hit you as a longtime hobbyist?
If you have a card, you can look at the card. You can feel the card. If it's just one card in a pack, you can feel the thickness. So whether it's a CT scanner or anything else, the smaller the quantity, the easier it is to see some irregularity. But you've already seen the card companies put in decoys and things like that. I believe that now this is in the light, that people are talking about this, the card companies will respond. If it's a one pack per box, I don't know to what extent that's searchable inside the sealed box of one pack of 5 cards. Are they looking for thickness? Are they looking for some metal, the density of materials? I think there'll be countermeasures. If it's an upper deck hockey box, 12 packs of 12 cards and possibly a Connor Bedard young gun, good luck with your CT scanner.
But you might be able to see the acetate version, which is numbered to 10 potentially. That could be in there. I'm sure it's difficult.
I'm not sure of the specificity of what they have. If it's perfect, then again, like I said, there'll be countermeasures. I'm glad this is coming out. We'll see.
The way I've seen it explained is that it's hard to make out if it's a pack. I don't know if it's because of the wrapping that's on it or because there's so many cards inside of a pack. I heard it's more for like the flawless, where I think the cards come in a holder. So I think it's very limited on what you can use it on. To put a box under a CT scanner is like next level of pack searching, the ultimate pack searching.
People open boxes and resealed them. Now you don't have to. This is not 100% foolproof. There's some stuff that the CT scanner is not going to aid you, but in some products it will. And we know for certain breakers aren't using this on flawless products. It seems they get some of these big hits too much compared to ratios. So it definitely raises a lot of question marks.
Like they can put a wrapper that has lead on it to prevent that kind of thing. But who's going to absorb the cost of that wrapper with lead on it? We're going to have to
consume it. Yep. This is why I'm glad I'm not really someone that opens as much wax as the old John Newman used to. So this doesn't really directly affect me per se, but still we care about the hobby. We don't want to see anybody take one on the chin. For us, I think we buy more cards than wax, right? But it affects how the hobby looks. And
we're missing an aspect of this that could be a silver lining. If you're just a random collector, you're not going to go to your medical office to get a single box or pack. You would have already bought it. Okay. So who are the people that have all the packs and boxes? It's the breakers. It's card shops.
Yeah.
If you're a huge breaker, then this technology could assist you if it really works. Because now, if the machine's tens of thousands of dollars, but some of these breakers are doing millions of dollars worth of business. So if anybody was going to utilize this technology and exploit it, it'd be a big breaker. Okay. So now the main criticism of these big breakers is they get all the good stuff. So then this technology, if it really worked, is going to help them identify which boxes have the really good cards. So now they're in a situation where if I'm a breaker and I know there's a $1 million card in this box, I think I'll just keep that. I don't think I'm going to open it, or I'll make sure somebody that buys it is my buddy, because I'm going to cut them in on.
And we're going to, me and you, Dr. Jim, we're going to sell it and split the millions of dollars.
And I believe that will be discoverable.
Like a triple logo, man.
But again, I believe the breakers get product, and for them to go through it, like I said, they would want to set the boxes aside that had the really good stuff in it and make sure that was treated differently. They'd have to be surreptitious about it, but they'd either make sure the break spots were filled with friends. Now that's a conspiracy that's hard to keep quiet, or they just don't even do it. So if we see the number of big cards dropping off from some of these large breakers who just happen to live near a medical complex, then we can get suspicious. But like I said, the integrity of a breaker, they've weathered the storm, some of them, of having suspicious kind of things. But over time, their business reputation is based on how many good things they pull, but then they're just pulling it for somebody and it's going to somebody else. My word would be they keep it for themselves, which is what happened one time.
Yeah. If a breaker was to be caught with their hand in the cookie jar, I would hope that the card manufacturers would obviously do the right thing and stop supplying them product to continue those illegal acts.
For example, a large breaker gets 10 cases of a certain product. If I were the card company, I'd want to know that those products were being broken. So if they've got their CT scanner and they've got their 10 cases and they scan the 10 cases, and they find, hey, one of these is not like the others, we're just going to set this one aside. So if they got 10 cases and they only sold 9 and they held back one for their own personal opening, perhaps, that would be suspicious behavior. So the card companies need to be tracking, we got these cases to these breakers, they broke them, and they made public what they got. And that's the audit. If every case is opened and visibly evaluated by the public.
So you're saying Topps would know, hey, the triple logo man is headed this direction. And if it never surfaces, that would raise a red flag to Topps, like this breaker is not doing stuff above board.
I can't go that far because I don't think Topps knows who got the best case hits. Okay, so we're talking about case hits, but really 6-figure and up cards. I don't think Topps knows that. Like I said, every logo man is not equal. So they won't know which one necessarily. But if the breakers figure out that not going to open this product because I think it's got something big in it, that'd be bad. But then they'd be opening less big cards, and then their reputation would take a hit.
What about an auditor not affiliated with Topps, a separate company, knows where certain things went, and then just keeps tabs on it themselves, and then only reports back to Topps when they feel like something's not above board? Okay, we need to take a look at this.
Basically, what we need to be doing is not auditing cards that are in the packs. We need to be auditing the results of the openings. If there's 100 cases we can see that get opened and visibly the digital record is there, and you can see out of those 100 cases, where did the big cards fall? If they all fell in the big breakers, unless the big breakers had the lion's share of those openings. So the antidote for this thought that boxes are loaded is more public openings of boxes and cases that are recorded on YouTube or any other place where the audit could be, I've looked at all these videos and I've found that the best cards fall all over the place. They don't fall only in this part of the country. They don't fall only with these breakers. But you can't audit by opening up boxes and then resealing them. So I like the idea of auditing after the fact. And what we're doing is we're doing a form of that without doing the full analysis. We're just remembering that, oh, you know what? Those big breakers, they're always touting they got these big cards. Sometimes somebody that opens a box on their own, they're not necessarily going to tout it. But the breaker, it's their business to tout it. So they have an outsized megaphone exaggerating how many great things. It's a great rumor they can fan the flames of. Hey, we're a big breaker. We get all the big stuff. But if you analyze all the openings, that's what I'm saying. Not open them and then put them back in, or somebody knows. If somebody knows, anybody could know. I just think let's open up the boxes. Let's see where the big hits fall and make sure they're falling randomly after the fact. And if they're not, that company is in deep trouble.
Yeah. Now, anything that can protect the consumer, I'm in favor of. I know there's costs involved. It's not my money, so it's easy for me to spend Topps and Panini's money.
Kyle has more cameras than any other promoter. He's already in first place. He has drones. He has cameras in every corner, in every room. Already gone the extra mile, but now it's being pointed out he's going to have to go the extra 2 miles or something. Because you go in the corner of the room, there's a video station, a security station where they've got the big screen watching those video feeds. He takes it seriously, but again, this was a breach in a vulnerable time with people hanging around because there weren't as many people there. I wasn't there on that Sunday.
This will be the first national, Dr. Jim. I'm actually going to be there on a Sunday. Any thoughts? Are people having blowout sales?
Where am I going to be on Sunday? Where am I going to be on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Actually, I don't know exactly in advance where I'm going to be each of those days. But Sunday is the most scrambling of the days. But if people are looking for me, the Beckett booth, generally, some of the guys I've known for a long time would know where I might be or could contact me or text me or something. And then I start out at the singles club. I'll be there probably Wednesday, possibly even Thursday. But then there are other places. Rich Klein, my wingman, will not be there. But Rich, the test will be this year if he knows where I am, even though he's not in the state. If he's still in Texas, but people contact him to find out where I am, and he would know the answer, because I don't know how he knows all the stuff he knows, but somehow Rich knows.
He's Dr. Jim Beckett's Secret Service agent. He knows where you are at all times.
The real Secret Service that really do their job. I've made some deals on Sunday, but I'm limited by what I can carry, or there's some logistical concerns, but there's dealers willing to make. In fact, there's some booths, and you guys know from the bargain boxes, the best deal on the bargain boxes is not going to be on Wednesday. It's going to be on Sunday. Now, it may be picked over, but they're going to be discounting more heavily toward the end. Showcase cards as well.
Sunday, John, it's usually a sad day for me. Number one, by Sunday, I'm broke. Also, when you start seeing the teardown happen, it's like the party's over. Sunday has always been a little sad for me in that aspect.
Victor, there's a difference between broke and out of cash.
That's true.
That's the issue for me. I'm not going to be broke, but I could run out of cash. And actually, that could be a good thing.